Arsenal has just revealed who will be Aaron Ramsdale's replacement. Yes, Gunners, unfortunately, our favorite goalkeeper is saying goodbye to the Emirates Stadium. And Arsenal legend David Seaman drops a bomb that could change all of Mikel Arteta's plans for the summer window. Stay with me until the end of the video to understand everything that's happening right now at the Emirates Stadium. But before that, if you're also passionate about Arsenal, subscribe to our channel right now to stay informed about everything happening behind the scenes of the greatest team in the Premier League. And without further ado, let's get into today's top news. Arsenal hero David Seaman has essentially categorized the transfer pursuit of one Premier League star as pointless given the quality already at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal legend David Seaman has rowed back against the idea of Mikel Arteta signing Pedro Neto given the attacking options already at his disposal. The Gunners have been linked with holding an interest in the Wolves winger ahead of the summer transfer window, along with a number of other Premier League clubs. Arsenal already have enviable wide options in Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and Leandro Trossard. All three have scored in the club's current 5-match winning run, during which they have netted an incredible 21 goals. Arteta is nonetheless expected to dip into the market for a striker this summer, but the spread of goals from other areas has offered fans real encouragement. Neto has tallied 3 goals and 11 assists in 19 outings for Wolves this season, and Seaman is an admirer of the Portugal star. However, the former goalkeeper says that Arsenal have no need for him given the current winger options within the squad. Would I take Pedro Neto at Arsenal? When you look at what's in there already in the Arsenal team, you don't really want to disrupt that, so probably not, he told Paramatch. But he's a special player for Wolves. What I loved about the Wolves' performance against Spurs at the weekend was their second goal. Neto broke from his own half, took it all the way and then squared it for João Gomez. Neto's left foot is amazing, and as we saw then, it was just brilliant play from him. Furthermore, Neto would not come cheap with more than 3 years still left on his contract. Other areas of Arsenal's squad need strengthening, and splashing money on another winger may come across as futile to many supporters. Ahead of the summer, though, Arsenal have their eyes firmly locked on the title race. They sit third, just 2 points off top spot, with 13 matches left to play, and Seaman believes the Gunners will put together a stronger run-in period than last season. He added, "The squads of Man City and Liverpool look really strong, but if Arsenal can stay away from injuries then I think they will give them a good fight. It'll be close. There's a few big games for Arsenal coming up, so we'll know a lot more after this month, I'm sure. But it's great and it's good for Arsenal to be in the title race. The form that they're in, they've got a chance of going to Man City in a real good form next month and giving them a test. Not like last season, where they went up there and there was a lot on it and then they didn't perform at all. So hopefully it's going to be different this season." Arsenal have already accepted that Ramsdale will leave the Emirates Stadium at the end of the current campaign. The 25-year-old shotstopper will seek pastures new, having lost his starting berth in North London to David Raya. The Gunners have already agreed to pay £27 million to make Raya's switch to North London permanent. The cost of that deal will be offset against whatever funds can be raised from Ramsdale's sale. Essentially, Ramsdale's exit will pay for Raya to remain. However, that does still leave one problem for Mikel Arteta and Edu to solve. With Ramsdale gone, the Gunners will be left without a suitable backup keeper. Hale-end academy prospects such as Karl Hein and James Hilson are not yet ready to be the second-choice option between the sticks at first-team level. As such, Arsenal will have to return to the market to find a player who can come in and slot in behind Raya in the pecking order. It could even be the case that Arteta seeks to bring in a keeper of significant enough quality that he is able to really challenge for Raya's number 1 spot, just as he did when he brought in Raya himself to battle with Ramsdale for the starting berth. Arsenal have been encouraged to consider Anthony Patterson as a replacement for Aaron Ramsdale. Considering this summer quandary, journalist James Benge shared his thoughts on the matter. Speaking to Charles Watts on his Inside Arsenal YouTube platform, Benge said, "His stats look good, Anthony Patterson at Sunderland. I think you need to be, casting a wide net on this one. I would be looking in the Championship, seeing if there's anyone good available on a free transfer. That's what you've got to do." Anthony Patterson has impressed for Sunderland this season. The 23-year-old is enjoying his second campaign as the first-choice keeper in the Championship. The England under-21 international is an excellent shot-stopper. However, his distribution can be somewhat inconsistent. Patterson would not be able to come into Arsenal and immediately put real pressure on Raya for his starting berth, but he could provide a solid backup option if called upon. He also has huge potential, and could one day succeed the Spaniard. Whether or not Sunderland could be convinced to part with Patterson for a fee that Arsenal would deem acceptable is another matter entirely. In any case, Arteta may also have his heart set on a more experienced option. Thomas Partey back and tackling. Mikel Arteta has been handed a huge boost ahead of his first Champions League knockout tie as a manager, with Thomas Partey returning to Arsenal training. Ahead of flying out, the club held an open training session, with Haters TV among those in attendance, thus being able to confirm that Partey returned to train with the first-team squad. The Ghana international is yet to play in the Champions League this season for the Gunners, and hasn't featured at all since October in a cameo against Manchester City. As the pressure builds ahead of the run-in for European and domestic silverware, Partey's return is a huge boost for Arteta, who is taking on the Champions League knockouts for the first time as a manager. Mikel Arteta has now made it clear that Fabio Vieira remains in his plans at Arsenal. Fabio Vieira is edging closer to a return to action for Arsenal, and has travelled with the first-team squad to face Porto. The Portuguese midfielder has not been seen in red and white since late November, as after picking up a red card against Burnley, he then underwent groin surgery which has kept him on the sidelines ever since. In general, though, even when he has been fit, Vieira has struggled to make much of an impression at the Emirates Stadium. All too often, matches seem to pass him by. Despite his obvious talent, he has regularly failed to stamp his authority on games. Mikel Arteta firm on future of Fabio Vieira at Arsenal. When he does return, he has to start impressing quickly, and show that he can be a valuable contributor in this Arsenal team. What remains of this current campaign may well represent something of a last-chance saloon for Vieira at Arsenal. After all, he joined the Gunners from Porto in a deal worth £34 million back in the summer of 2022. The 23-year-old has had plenty of time now to get to grips with the Premier League and to start showing consistency at that level. There have been flashes of quality. Even earlier this season, he produced excellent assists when making cameos off the bench against Manchester United and Fulham. However, in this Arsenal team, that should be looking to chase down the top prizes in the game over the course of the next few seasons, irregular snapshots of quality are not enough to sustain a place in the squad. Despite these concerns, Mikel Arteta remains adamant that Vieira will come good for the Gunners. Speaking in his press conference ahead of Arsenal's Champions League clash against Vieira's former club, Porto, on Wednesday evening, the Spanish coach said, "Really happy with him but at the same time sad because just as he was building some momentum he got injured just like last season. He's a player with enormous talent and we will get the best out of him," as quoted by Football.London. Clearly, the manager is still convinced that Vieira has something to offer the North London club on a long-term basis. Whether he is proven correct remains to be seen, but his track record in the Emirates Stadium dugout suggests that he ought to be trusted on such matters. Well, folks, those were today's news. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay informed about everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell so you won't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and see you in the next video.